Good morning, this is Pastor Derek with Thursday's Connection Clip. It was the Prince of Paradox himself, G.K. Chesterton, who wrote, "Ordinary people have an exciting time, while odd people are always complaining about the dullness of life." And that gave me pause to think for just a second, and I'd like to think with you about whether or not we're complainers or we're those who, in the ordinariness of life, are fully enjoying life and seeing God in multifaceted glory. I believe Chesterton is right on in his assessment. You see, ordinary is that which is without special or distinctive features. It's that which is normal or standard. It's that which in its ordinariness is without glitz and glamour. It does not have any gaudy embellishment. And oftentimes that's where we find God. You see, by its very definition, ordinary never once is boring or lifeless. We, friends, have written that into the definition of ordinariness. And I, for one, am thankful for that reality, because much of our lives are lived in the ordinariness of time and space. And yet I wonder how often our lives leave us desiring something more. I wonder how often we get so disenchanted with ordinary that we long for that supernatural to break in. Something or someone to invade and interrupt the ordinary. Something that's larger than life, someone who possesses the zest and energy that we lack. Something rather absurd and outlandish, and someone who's crazy enough just for a moment to pique our interest. Something that makes us stand up and say, "Man, now that was something." And yet I wonder if our desire for something more, something which strikingly stands in contrast to the ordinary of our life, something which, dare I say, is supernatural, has blinded us, has left us without the ability to see God, has handicapped us. Because in the ordinary of time and space, God's glory is breaking continually around us. And it's because we are ordinary people and we inhabit an ordinary world that God, our good God, sees fit to deal with us in ordinary things by ordinary ways. It's the innocent, unprovoked smile of a child. It's the paper-lipped kiss of a loved one. It's the unhurried flutter of butterfly wings or the downy dance of a bunny. It's the quiet lapping of the water's waves as you walk along the beach. It's the quiet, unhurried conversation with a friend. And it's the steady forward momentum which carries us along in our life of faith. These are but a few of the many, many ways that God invades and interrupts our ordinary. And it's these many ways which nourish us along in our spiritual journey. See, only occasionally does God interrupt and invade, moving us into the supernatural and meeting us there. And every time he moves us into the supernatural, it's as if we're Moses standing atop Mount Sinai with the glory of the Lord radiating around us. We should be filled with awe and wonder in those supernatural moments, but we should also be filled with awe and wonder in the ordinariness of life. You see, in the supernatural, God descends in majestic might and absolute power and in pure holiness. And he does so to reveal himself to us and to knock us completely off center. And often, friends, in the supernatural, God moves us in a completely other direction. Something that's unanticipated, unexpected. Something that leaves us longing for a moment of ordinary. Yet these supernatural moments, friends, they're always an exception to the rule. They're always abnormal moments, far removed from our ordinary experiences. Encountering the supernatural and encountering God, there is always an exception to the rule. Much of the time, our lives are governed by ordinary events and ordinary circumstances with just enough supernatural sprinkled in to make us extremely grateful for the ordinary. After all, though we claim we want more of the supernatural, what we find when we encounter the supernatural is that the supernatural is disconcerting and it's uncomfortable. And it's the supernatural that leaves us shaking in our shoes, or at least it should. It's the supernatural that reminds us yet again that God is almighty. And we, friends, we are not. God is not a puppet we can manipulate. God is not a genie we can rub, and therefore he appears and we can command. God is not simply a great moral teacher just waiting to reveal to us the mysteries of life, if we're but bold enough to ask. Rather, in the ordinary times of our life, as well as in the supernatural times of our life, God is God, and beside him there is no other. Hey friends, I'd ask you, if you want to learn more about this God, to join us here at Second Reformed, to fellowship and worship with us. We're just ordinary people seeking our way in a world that's confusing. And if it's your desire to join with us, we'd invite you here this Sunday at 10 o'clock in the sanctuary. For now, have a great weekend, and I hope to see you on Sunday. May the Lord be with you.